Right, welcome back. We're here. It's episode 13. Well, when I say we, I'm here. 13, unlucky for some. It appears the person it's unlucky for is my co-host, JG. He's come down with a virus, unfortunately. It's just a stomach virus, I'm told. So, wish him a speedy recovery. And hopefully he'll be back for the next episode of the podcast. Obviously, something we need to address straight off the bat. The beard's gone. This is not something which wasn't difficult for me to remove, but I had to do it. I was filming a music video and my actor let me down last minute. So I had to take the role of the actor and take off the beard. So it'll be coming back though in the coming weeks. So just watch this space. Yeah, if you want to check out some of my other music videos, then I'll pop a little link in the description below. Then you can just check that out if you really want to. Just wanted to start saying thanks a lot for everybody's support over the past couple of months. It's been incredible. Up to about 540 subscribers now, which is brilliant. And yeah, just keep it coming. We would love to reach a target of 1,000 subscribers by the time we make the French Open, if possible. So if everybody could share it with everybody you know, and yeah, just keep liking and commenting, and it will help us show up in searches and things like that. So really appreciate all the support anyway. We'll just continue putting out that content for you. I'd like to say a quick thank you. Slice Tennis, thanks for a little shout out on in the comments. Appreciate that. Need all the support we can get. We're happy to support any other tennis podcasts too. So yeah, let's just get on with the tennis news. So starting off, we're in Dubai for the ATP Dubai, where once again Novak Djokovic reigns supreme, and the big test of the entire tournament for him, as me and JG said on the last episode, Gael Monfils. He did actually come up against him in the semi-final, and what a match. These two literally went head-to-head, and Monfils not beaten him in 18 previous meetings, and this was probably his best form that he's been in his career, I would say. And he took the game to Djokovic. He was all over him in that first set, took the first set 6-2, and just the second set, he just came up short. He's getting so close, just not close enough. So he came up, he had 3 match points, but just once again proves Novak Djokovic, what do you have to do to beat the guy? I mean, he is just... It's just admirable what he's able to pull out. You have to hit winners to beat this man. You can't just get it back in the court. And it proved again. I think Monfils on his first match point, that was the one. You could have taken that one. He rushed it. He went for a quick finish off, I think, the second ball wide. And then once he'd lost his other serve, then it was back on serve again. But well done to Djokovic. I knew once the second set he'd taken that. Apparently Monfils was a little bit injured, but I think Djokovic would have taken it anyway. Well done to Novak Djokovic. He takes his 79th ATP title there and wins once again in Dubai. And he took out in the final Stefano Tsitsipas, who's been, he's finally back to form, but not the sort of form that Novak Djokovic is in. He took out, GB's number one really at the moment, Dan Evans. Dan Evans had a stonking tournament. He took out the likes of Fognini. He took out the likes of Rublev. He took out the likes of Herbert. 3 quality players, and then just came up against Tsitsipas in great form. But just goes to show how good Djokovic is at the moment. Even Tsitsipas in good form didn't even come close. And Djokovic was just playing some of his best tennis. I think he's really, really looking like he's going to take a few slams this year. As I've predicted, might even look pretty good for the French. So keep a watch out there, Nadal. You never know. Djokovic on clay. And I was just thinking one thing whilst watching the ATP Dubai, with trying to pick my brain about why people might be favour Federer or favour Nadal and aren't maybe on Djokovic's side so much. And I was just maybe thinking maybe it was more about the flair in their tennis game. I mean, we've got Nadal, he is just famous for that power, topspin game, and then you've just got Federer with just his smooth, single-handed backhand, just glides around the court. And I was trying to think, what is it that Novak's bring? Maybe he's just not bringing that flair. Maybe that's why some people aren't really getting on board with him. Like they should be, because he brings so much else to the table. His flexibility and his variety of shots is probably up there. He's probably the best on the tour with his variety. And if you saw him in this last match, he was doing the splits, going for some, and you don't see any other players doing that. So he's put a lot of hard work into his flexibility, and it's just testament to him, really. But maybe it's just that. It just doesn't have that. It just doesn't have that flair, the flare shots. I don't know. Maybe that's it. What do you think? Let us know. I'll pop a question in the comments below. What do you think it is about Novak Djokovic's game which would make him attractive to the neutral fan? So, yeah, let us know your thoughts. Yeah, Dan Evans, we move back to him. I've made the semi-final. Well done, Dan. Come on, representing for GB. Love it, absolutely love it. We've had Carl Edmund doing well in a tournament. Now we've got Dan Evans. Seems the GB's doing really well. So, proud of the boys. And he's now up to number 28 in the world, which, incredible. Just keep going, keep playing the way you are. You've taken out some big names. Just keep going like that. You'll get there. You might see a top 20. If we move away from there, well, we had the other big gun firing over in Acapulco, and Rafael Nadal takes the title yet again. It just seems that all we're speaking about is the big three, but they just keep performing. Nadal, yet again, he just absolutely wiped the floor with everybody. I mean, it was a little bit embarrassing. He gets all the way to the final, doesn't drop a set the whole tournament. But if you see some of the tennis he's playing Taylor Fritz in the final. It was more like a first round match for Nadal. He just literally pushed him around the court. And the power of some of his shots, that's where it almost seems like he's getting more powerful the older he gets. But well done to him. He takes his 85th ATP title, which is quite astounding. He's not quite there with the likes of Federer yet. I think Federer's up there about 103, 109, something like that. It was too easy for him, but now, quite an interesting stat, he's now the youngest player to win the ATP Acapulco, and he's now the oldest player to win the ATP Acapulco. So, yeah, he's covering both ends of the spectrum. So, well done, Rafa. Something a little bit contentious that was coming out of that tournament. We had Nick Kyrgios, who was getting booed off after he went off injured against Hugo Humbert. And yeah, a little bit strange. I know that he was a reigning champion there in Acapulco. Just strange just to see the fans really got on his back. Just weren't having any of it. He's had apparently a bad wrist injury, and he was just went for the tournament, reigning champ. You got to, haven't you? Went for the tournament. Yeah, just obviously felt it. I don't know. Maybe he did lose. Well, he did pull out after losing the first set. Yeah, that's probably why the crowd got on his back a bit. But if you're injured, don't make yourself more injured. But then again, he's coming out. He's probably not endearing himself to people in South America because he keeps coming out and speaking out against the clay court. He's done it once again. He's sort of attacking on Twitter Gianluca Mega, who got to the final of the ATP tournament last week. And he's sort of saying Mega's now up to 77 in the ranking. He now puts him ahead of people like TFO, Popperin, other great hardcourt players. When he says Mega's form on hard is just awful. So why should he be allowed? Why is this clay court tournament there? Why are these clay court players allowed to go ahead in the rankings? He's got a point, but there's other ways about going about it. Gianluca Mega's a very good player, and you can't just go around just attacking tennis players. It's not his fault that they've done it. attack the board of, I don't know, the ATP board, or the people who are organising the tournaments. It's not down to the player. At the end of the day, he did his job. And other big news down in Acapulco, Heather Watson, she takes the WTA title in Acapulco. Well done, Heather. We knew you could do it. An outstanding tournament, an outstanding performance in the final. She took on Leylah Fernandez from Canada, just a young 17-year-old. But I've been monitoring this Leylah Fernandez over the past few weeks, and she's been in incredible form. She was beating some great players. If you just have a look down the list here, she had taken out Bencic, Cabrera, Lepchenko, Stevanovic, Habino, Popatova, and Zarazua. Just a few, and that's and Heather Watson ended a 7-match winning run there for her. So incredible final, like full of drama. Heather was playing fantastic in that first set, took it 6-4, and in the second set, well, I thought it was game, set, match. Really, she was up. In the tie-break, she was up, had 4 match points. Don't know what happened. Maybe, I think Fernandez turned it on a little bit, but Heather just couldn't get the job done. And that came out firing in that final set and literally, set the court on fire. 6-1, job done. Well done, Heather. That's her 4th WTA title. And it actually comes, strangely enough, 4 years after her last WTA title, which was again in Mexico, so she loves it there, and also on another leap year. So Heather, let's not keep the wins just for leap year. Let's get a few more of them in a couple of the other years as well. But well done anyway. Yeah, something that was quite sad to see though, a little bit, was when the match kicked off though with Heather Watson in the final. There didn't really seem to be anyone in the stands. It's a little bit sad for the women's game. We got a WTA final. I know that Nadal was obviously playing after that, but the first set there was about 20 people watching. I'm thinking this is abysmal. And then by the end, obviously, the final set, the stands were filling up a little bit. But come on, we need to go out and support the women as well. But yeah, it just doesn't seem to be many people. Maybe if there was somebody with a bigger like pulling power, like a Halep or someone in there, maybe it would, but I don't know. Heather, just get yourself up the rankings, start beating some bigger players, and then I'm sure the crowds will come in. Oh yeah, and well done also Heather, now moved inside the top 50. And what an achievement that is. The last ATP event of the weekend. I think it would be rude of me not to mention the wild card. Seyboth Wild versus Casper Ruud. Seyboth Wild takes the tournament. 182 in the world. Thiago Seyboth Wild. And, well, I was following him a lot of last year, and some of his form in the Challengers was impeccable. He was beating like some top challenger players. Yeah, I mean, he went on a storming run. If you just take a look down the list I'll put up, beating Montero, Kovalik, Cerundolo, Varias, Delian, Fikovic, Hanfman, Correa, and Delian again. Like these are not easy players. These are top clay court players. And he went on a run beating all of these players at the back end of last year and really, well, set him up well for coming into the season this year. And you can see, wild card, incredible. He's taken out in this tournament Bagnis, Londero, Garin, apparently injured. I mean, he's played a lot of tournaments recently, so I can see probably, but he still took it to Garin. Garin's top 30 in the world, and he's beaten him in the first set. Olivo, and then comes up against Casper Ruud, who's also just won an ATP event on clay, and an incredible final. He literally back and forth. Seyboth Wild takes the first set, and it was just so impressive just to see someone 19 years old, the youngest Brazilian ever to win an ATP event, and he was pushing Casper Ruud around. Granted, Casper Ruud is still a young player, and he's still developing, but he's much more well known than Seyboth Wild, and he was pushing him around the court. It was just the power of his shots, the the deep ground shots that he was putting away stuff on clay that you don't really see that often. It's not associated with the clay court that often, people hitting that many winners, and he was hitting the ball dead, and it was just flying off the clay. So I was really, really impressed. He really upped his level for the final as well. He'd been playing well, but it really showed that he really wanted to win that. He just had that, and because he was hitting those power shots, Ruud was having to stay so far back. He just left it open for the delicate drop shots. Those were on point as well. So really great play all round. And he showed a lot of resolve because he was down in the first set, a break, and actually came back from, I think it was 3-1 down in the first set to take it 7-5. So to do all of that in your first ATP final, well done, and a cheers to you, Seyboth Wild. Keeping our eye on you. Definitely one to look out for at the French Open. Yeah, in other news that we had, Thiem, he makes his way up to world number 3 in the rankings now. Federer's dropped out due to injury now, and Thiem's moving his way up. We're getting close to the French Open. It's going to be interesting to see. But there's obviously the race for number 1 at the moment between Djokovic and Nadal. Who's going to be seeded in what seed? And who's going to have to potentially face Thiem in the semi-final, because it's going to probably play a very big impact on who they're going to meet in the final. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen coming up. We've got obviously the Sunshine Double coming up first, but looking on the horizon, that French Open's coming up quick and fast. Other news, sad to see, but an incredible career. Maria Sharapova has retired. Just want to congratulate Maria on just such an amazing career. Well, that rhymed, which was weird. Yeah, well done to you. 36 titles in a long career and 5 Grand Slams, obviously. Still just an amazing... she won every single Grand Slam there was. The French Open twice. If we just look through her record here, she retired at the age of 32. And fair play to her. She's done very well in her career. She has nothing else to prove to anybody in the sport. She's put women's tennis well and truly on the map. She sort of took over from, well, you thought that Kornikova was the Russian one to watch just because she was a pretty girl playing tennis, and then someone actually with more ability came in Russia with Maria Sharapova, and she had the whole package. And she really... yeah, she filled stands around the world wherever she went. So wish her a happy retirement, and just cheers to all that you brought to the tennis world, Maria. So there doesn't seem to be any ATP events on this week. Just a couple of WTA events just to mention. We've got the WTA singles in Leon, and we've also got the WTA singles in Monterrey as well in Mexico. So if we just have a quick look at the WTA Leon, have a quick look at the draw. It's not totally stacked, this tournament, but I'd probably give my pick for this one to be... yeah, I would probably go with my pick for the tournament on this one to be Alizé Cornet, who is the French tennis player. I think that she's got a very good chance. She's been in very good form recently. We'll see how that one goes. And then we've obviously got our girl Heather. She's at it again in Mexico. She's in the Monterrey one. So let's just have a quick look at who Heather might be coming up against in Monterrey. And she's up against in the first round, well, not Tia Maria, but Tatiana Maria in the first round. So hopefully Heather can get further in this tournament. There's some good players in here. We've got Azarenka. We've also got Cerebres Tormo. She recently beat Osaka 6-3, 6-love, I believe. Or 6-love, 6-3, sorry. We've got Svitolina, who's in there as well. And we've also got this Leylah Fernandez, who could potentially, if she gets past Vogeli, she could be up against Sloane Stephens. But I don't know if I can put my house on Heather winning a second tournament, a second week running. I would say probably go towards more Sloane Stephens for this tournament, I'd say. But I think that's about it really for this roundup of last week's stuff. We'll be back next week. We'll have a review of this week and the WTA events and any other tennis news going on. Please don't hesitate. Just leave us more comments, like every video, and just share it around. Like we really need all the support we can get. We want to try and hit that 1,000 subscriber mark before we get to the French Open. That's the target. If you can just, anybody you know, send it to your mum, your dad, your nan, get everybody to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, we'll just keep on putting out the content for you. If you've got any questions about anything tennis related, let us know. It can be funny, can be anything. And we'll just do our best to answer it for you. But hopefully he'll be back next week and I won't have to sit looking at an empty chair. And yeah, I think that's it. Goodbye for this week.